I'll call this meeting to order. This is the Nottingham Planning Board, Wednesday, January 26, 2022. And just call this meeting to order. I'll go around the room here and have people introduce themselves.
Robert Davies, alternate.
Gary Anderson.
Dirk Grotenhuis.
Susan Mooney, Jolene Anderson.
Blair Haney, SRPC.
And we do have a couple of members that are absent today, so I'll seat Robert Davies for Ian McKinnon. So the first case that we have tonight is case 22001 LLA. This is a continuation. An application from James and Julie Kelly requesting a lot line adjustments of two adjacent properties. Properties are located at 15 and 17 South Summer Street in Nottingham and are identified as map 40, lots 15 and 15-9. The applicant is here to let us know where you're at with that.
Did I just hear you say a continuance?
Because we accepted the
Well,
application.
we've accepted the application. It's told,
You accept, it probably doesn't matter if you accepted it, but it just seems like, I mean, the public notice says the meeting starts tonight. So I was wondering how you accepted it before the meeting.
we didn't. We did it at the last meeting.
Well, how,
Just a procedural. Yeah, you, if I remember
I didn't
right,
even know about it though.
you
Nobody-
weren't present.
Well, I didn't know about it, because
Nope,
it just
nope.
says, come today. I wouldn't have come 2 weeks ago. I didn't know about it. I just got a notice to come today.
It was from December, I think.
No, wasn't it last week that we?
Was anybody here was the Kellys here?
I'll answer you, Peter. So the application was, so we have 30 days to accept the application. So that was part of, in order for us to accept the application, the 30 days would have been last meeting, not this meeting.
30 days. Well,
So the application was made.
of course, every project starts when you put it in, and then depending on timing and scheduling and getting on the agenda, and I understood the 12th was so full that we weren't gonna be heard. So, and again, my notice says today, come today, don't come the 12th. I would have been here if knew I was on the agenda, but apparently doesn't, if all you've done is accepted the application, then that's a good thing.
That's what we've done.
And I guess the clock has started, but I didn't know.
Yeah,
But
so,
hopefully, we'll see how it goes tonight.
yeah, we accept,
You're ahead of the schedule, that's all. Now you're having a public meeting tonight. That's just seems a little, I've just never done it this way, ever.
well, it's always two parts, so we have to have the acceptance of the
But I
application.
usually get invited to the meeting.
And then usually, well, the applicant would have known because they made the application. So whoever made the application should have known that they're coming in. Maybe it was a miscommunication at the,
Well, isn't this the invitation, the notice that you get?
no, but you're being paid by the applicant, or you are part of that applicant.
I'm not talking about, I'm just trying to get proper notice for a meeting that maybe I should have been at. That's all I'm asking. I didn't know about it. Nobody ever said anything. I got a notice to come tonight. I thought we were starting the meeting.
But if you make an application to the planning board, you would think you would know when you're going to be
Yeah,
seen.
well, I've done enough of them, so, yeah, you're absolutely right, Ian.
You should be checking back in with the town clerk, or with the office here, to see when you would be notified, or when you would be on that agenda.
So that's a new way of notifying.
No, it's always been that way.
Well, then I get a registered mail, certified registered mail, like every abutter, as the professional, as to when the meeting is being,
So
and I got
let me
that,
ask-
and mine, this says it's tonight, that's all I'm pointing
Let me
out.
ask, Kevin, did you send out the notices to all of the abutters for the last meeting?
No. So, when Julie came in, okay, and she gave me the application, okay? We have 30, which was about midway through December. So we have 30, and so when she came in, she was concerned about COVID. I said, okay, well, it's gonna be full that first meeting. Well, are they gonna bump you to the second? She seemed fine with it. I said, okay. have to accept the application within 30 days. So if we put you on the agenda for today, a less busy meeting, then it wouldn't have been within the 30 days, which is why we accepted the application at the last meeting, okay? So I told her, and I told her that her case is gonna be heard on the 26th, which is today, and that's when we sent out the notices to the abutters, that'll be heard today.
Okay, so the the notice is for the public meeting. It's not necessarily for the application acceptance, because the acceptance is not a public meeting.
So it wasn't, we didn't hear anything on the application, it was just accepted as complete, that's all it said. There was no.
So the applicant or the agent should have been tracking that, and also, as a fail-safe, the clerk should also be letting you know. So the bottom line, it is accepted.
Okay, well, that's a good
If you'd
thing.
like to move forward the application,
Well,
we
we
can.
would.
If you would not
No, we
like to,
would.
we can continue it to a different time.
It's just a different, that's okay, I'm just not familiar with that procedure, but let's go on. So, that sounds good. That's kind of clears some things up. So anyway, so tonight, as the chairman has mentioned, I'm representing the Kellys who are not in attendance tonight. And what we're looking at is they own, or let's put it this way, they're 2 tracts of land that the Kellys family owns. The Greer is actually Julie Kelly's father, so they're relatives on both of these parcels. And the parcels are located on South Summer Street. The dwellings are labeled number 15 and number 17, South Summer Street. Currently, number 15 has 47.5 acres, and what we're trying to do is we're going to take the existing lot line, as you can see, as it runs down through the middle of the lot. It starts at the road, runs up the driveway, splits at where the driveway split. The lot line to be abandoned is the existing lot line, runs to the center of the river, runs down the river, all the way down to the southerly or southeasterly corner. And of course, that's the line we're going to abandon. That creates, that in addition to the relocated line, creates the parcel A transfer area of 12 acres from number 17 Greer to number 15 Kelly, enlarging Kelly to 59.5 acres thereabouts, and reducing lot number 17 from 18 or 19 acres down to 6.5 acres. So it's pretty straightforward lot line adjustment at this point. The new lot line has been monumented with granite bounds at the corners, and because there was an existing stone wall in close proximity to where the owners wanted the property line, I chose to use that wall as the new relocated lot line. So that's pretty much it.
Blair, you had a chance to review this?
I did, yeah. I sent around a staff report, just acknowledging some of what Peter said. Parcel A is the piece that's gonna be transferred. It only exists for transfer purposes. It's not anything additional. In addition to the lot line adjustment, the right-of-way is gonna be reduced from 40 to 30 feet for the driveway, for the shared driveway easement. He said the application says they'll make the deed language available to us after the recording of the adjusted plan, so that might want to be a condition, just to, just to hold into us that we get that for our records. There's no other waivers requested. No additional permits are needed. I did make mention of the subdivision regulations length to width ratio of 3 to 1, with the removal of that area of the giving parcel 15-9. I was asking, it's not a requirement of the subdivision regulations, but it is something that, we do discourage. So I was asking, you know, where we stood with that. Otherwise, it is a pretty straightforward request.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions, for the applicant? Yeah, I did notice the length and the ratio, but it's pretty much that is an existing condition as well. It's not making it any narrower, it's just making it less long.
Okay, yeah, yep.
And I did look at it too, as well as the, kind of the setbacks, relative to the, septic leach field. And it looks like all of the setbacks will meet, current regulation.
Just a quick question, is it my understanding that the frontage has not changed for either parcel?
The front,
The frontage?
oh, no, there's no change to any of the frontage.
Right, okay,
That's right.
yep.
And was there prior, easement for the road shared driveway? Or is that
Yes,
just
that's
something
shown on the
new?
plan. It's, yeah, existing 40-foot wide shared driveway easement. It's current. It was part of the original subdivision that was done in, 1990.
So Pete, it appears that most of the riverine, area will be transferred to lot 15 then?
Yes,
A minimal amount will remain with, the original lot.
that's right. Yep, that's right.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, this, I don't know either. The Kellys, he's a pretty, outdoorsy kind of guy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you know him, but, they love the outdoors and they love the woods, they love the river, and
Yeah.
they pretty much want to protect it. That's why they're
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah, well, it is a state protected river at that point.
Well, I
too,
understand, but they also, because I'd asked if, I couldn't get across, that was so high, I asked if I could cut a tree down to walk across the river, and he said no. So that's what we're talking about, to come all the way around Gow Road.
I think my husband lost my canoe in this bend right
It's
here.
very high right
It
now.
just disappeared.
Yeah, it's, I haven't seen, I mean, the river's been high
Yeah, oh,
all
yeah.
summer.
Thank you.
Usually you could probably walk across it.
Any, questions? It's pretty straightforward here. All right, let me open the public hearing. Anybody from the public wishing to speak to, for, or against, this application? Now's your time. Again, anybody from the public wishing to speak for or against this application? Seeing none, I'll close the public meeting. Bring it back to the board for, either more comments, questions, or a motion.
You wanna do it? Chair, I have, make a motion that we accept, case 22-001-LLA,
It would be an approval.
approve, sorry, with the, condition that, the easement deed language, is provided,
And standard conditions.
and standard conditions, thank you.
A second?
Motion and a second. Any other discussion on the motion? Those in favor indicate aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How you doing, Mark?
So I meant to announce this at the beginning of the meeting, but since we did informally notify some of the public, this next item on the agenda has been postponed, and that's the design review for the subdivision of Owl Ridge Builders on Smoke Street. So the applicant has requested a continuance to provide a little bit more detail into the information when they come back. They requested the next meeting date. Come back,
February 9th.
the 9th. So I would entertain a motion for that continuance to February 9th.
How long has that, application been on the table?
It's a design review, so we're not bound by the time limits.
Yep.
Per se, I mean, there are some, but nothing that's gonna drive us to make a decision right away or anything.
Gotcha.
So, Mr. Chairman, I move to, reschedule Owl Ridge Builders, design review. I don't have the number on that.
The 9th, February 9th?
January.
February 9th?
February 9th, excuse me, 22.
I'll second.
Motion second, any other discussion? Those in favor of the continuance, say aye. Those opposed? Will be continued. Then next we have a conceptual review, subdivision. It's Bassett Lamprey Drive. And just remind everybody that the objective of the design review is to provide the board with an opportunity to understand what's being proposed. So this is a very conceptual look at something prior to making a full application. This is an advantage of both the applicant and the board to get to understand the potential of an application that might be coming in. And for the applicant to understand the concerns of the board members or abutters in general and the public. Design review is intended to assure the essential character of the site specific, the location through a review, and is understood before a final application is prepared. So this is a time where we have some communications, being able to review what the applicant potentially might do. So that design review, I'm sorry, it's a conceptual review, is non-binding, but we do want to make sure that both parties are getting in the right track to make an application. So if the applicant's here, please come on up and state your name and your plans for this application.
If I may, I think I can, yes. Kevin Bassett, 101 Shore Drive, I own Lamprey Drive, tax map 70, lot 25. And the purpose of this is, from my perspective, is mostly just a one-way conversation. I'm really not looking for much back from you, at this point in time. There is a couple of questions that I'm asking, and what I'm really looking for is when I can get some answers to those questions. And whether it be 30 days, 3 months, or 3 years, kind of thing. It just sort of sets a time frame. And I know that you and the select board are in the middle of spinning on really the guts of these questions, so. So the first PowerPoint slide is just request guidance on road definition. And the second question is land usage. And this is prior to me going for, obviously a costly survey. Information transfer, not expecting really any feedback tonight. It may not even be warranted tonight from my perspective. So this is just to give you an idea and a little bit of history. I was here in front of the planning board before I bought this property, getting an idea of what the ground rules are, what I can do, because I was new and ignorant of being a landowner of 50 acres. I do plan on coming back again, probably even before I do a survey, with a little more detail, so that, just to keep you guys up to speed. I mean, I'd like to do a survey soon, but it's really not critical. The intent of me buying this is that it's my parting gift to my kids for the most part, so they're getting interested, but they're not ready to pull the trigger either, so I can't say that I want to do a survey day after tomorrow. The second one is just to give you an idea of where this roughly 50 acres is, on a topical map, off of 156, Dolph, and then, Lamprey splits off of Dolph. Third PowerPoint shows roads, and really the first question, is what I'm trying to poise. I spoke with Chris probably a month and a half ago, and Kev, I assume they have this here. So this is this here that Chris, that I just got tonight, is starting to, I'm not gonna say answer, but, start to guide answers in the future on some of the questions that I had, and it's sort of, reflected on this PowerPoint here that shows the roads. So, you know, Dolph Dam is the red, you know, where does it go, where does it end, and he's making an attempt on this memo that I have here to answer that. Lamprey Dive, you know, same thing, right now it goes out and it spurs out into 5 or 6, you know, pieces, you know, so what is it going to be? Where is it? I own the land under it, but, you know, obviously it's a town road, so, you know, what is going to be Lamprey Road? There is a no-name road from my perspective, it might become Lamprey. He didn't really address that, and that's the black road. You know, I call it no-name because it doesn't, it looks like a driveway, but beside the point. It looks like he didn't address that one specifically, he addressed Lamprey, Dolph, and Indian. And then the little spurious roads. You know, road usually has a beginning and an end, and what do you do with the fingers at the end? Are they driveways, are they emergency lanes, or whatever? So those are the kind of things, because, you know, I own the land underneath it, I wanna know what I can do with that piece. You know, they are, you know, previous roads, previous driveways, et cetera. I'm not looking to change them or move them, I just wanna know what the status of them for the most part. But that sort of leads into the next question, and that's, which gets into the next two. This one here with the overlapping, you know, the 4 blue was my concept, basically when before I purchased the property. I said, you know, there's possibly to get 4 12-acre lots in here, but they're never 12 acres, they're always 12 and a half or 13 or 14, and there's 50 acres, so, you know, is it even possible to do this? But this is what I came to you before I bought it, and I says, you know, maybe this is what I'd like to do. Essentially 4 big lots, 3 kids, and 1 for myself. And just to be specific, on this, I am tax map 68, number 15. Whether there's a possibility of whether one of those lots becomes an extension of that or not is still up in the air, but that's where I am. So it's, you know, I'm co-located to this property. So, so the whole idea is to give 10 acres of current use, and I'm sticking with that. As far as my kids are concerned, I plan on, you know, deeding that, and it's all good for the town, it's all good for the lake, and it's all good for them. They have some land for you know, their long-term use. So the questions is, you know, assume, and this all assumes that road frontage is met, and it probably is doable, you know. So now that I have these town roads, which weren't town roads when I bought it, you know, can a town road bisect a contiguous 12-acre lot? So that's one of the sort of the sticky questions. Don't need answers now, but it's, you know, can I cross a road? And then can a town road bisect a 3-acre lot if there is 2 acres minimum on one side of the lot? And that sort of gets into the last PowerPoint slide where, you know, if some of those answers are yes and some of those answers are no, I may not be able to put in 4 large lots because there are roads that bisect them, and then I got these little, you know, pink, you know, sort of little lots, ideally they'd all be greater than 2 acres. But it's just another option that, you know, is based on road boundaries. I'd have to divide up the lots. So that's sort of where I'm at. How do I, one, spend money on a survey that'll pass the board, is before I spend the money on a survey that won't pass the board. So, and then, you know, if I can't cross roads, then obviously it forces smaller lots, so. That's all I had for you, and, I'd just appreciate an answer. Is an answer somewhere 30 days out, 3 months out, or 3 years out?
Well,
And you don't have to answer that yet
no,
today either, but.
I understand that, but we also wanna be able to give you some direction as well, or at least provide some input, to, you know, what you have planned for your property. I don't need to rehash what we just went through as far as the position that the town is with these roads. But as far as the planning department goes, you know, there are quite a few options that could be available, whether it's removing a road or moving a road, or there's some things that can be done on this property, but that's something that really the owner needs to take on, but we can help with guidance as far as if you want to change some roads around or eliminate some roads. My suggestion as an initial step is to get some of the legal definition of these roads set in place prior to, you know, a ground survey. So there's some legal review, some deed review, who has rights to that roadway or that access that goes through the private property. Because ultimately, at the end of whatever you're gonna do there, the properties that have access from these roads will still need to continue to have access, so you won't be able to obviously cut those off. But you'll have to provide that access, but it doesn't have to be in this exact same configuration.
Certainly.
So, I think before you would go out and do a full survey, some of the, legal elements of these roadways with, a land use attorney, your own land use attorney, and then looking at back to the town, we have received some guidance on these from the town's attorney and the town's position. So there is some communication that can happen, you know, prior to a formal, let's go out and survey the whole thing. So there could be stages to that.
Okay. Those two questions about land use questions, you know, can a road bisect a 12-acre contiguous lot? And can a town road bisect a 3-acre, and 3 acres was arbitrary? Those two questions are key for going forward, from my perspective.
Section 14.6, it's only a one paragraph, and it talks about lands divided by a public rights of way. Any transfer, conveyance, or sale of land held in one ownership but already divided into lots or parcels of land by an existing public right-of-way shall not be considered a subdivision for the purposes of these regulations and shall not conform to the procedures set forth herein. There's a lot there. I don't know what all of it means, in your particular situation, but again, Dirk pointing you to places to start, that's certainly a place to start with your land use attorney, just to, you know, see how that would work with this board from a procedural perspective. Once you begin to identify what types of, you know, pathways these are. Is it an access, egress type of thing, or is it an actual public road right of way, you know? So this might apply at some point.
Okay, I guess I didn't catch all the understanding.
Yeah, no, I'm just.
Of that.
Yeah, there's no point in me, but if it's section 14.6 of the town's subdivision.
14.6. Good. I will look that up and try to absorb it. So, I say thank you.
Does the board have any other potential questions? or-
Just clarification, Kevin, you said your lot is 15, so is that, this is cut off somewhat, I think it's at that corner, but I'm just
Oh,
trying to
no,
figure.
tax map 68 up at the top.
68.
That's where I
Oh,
live,
up
that's,
here.
that's 101 Shore Drive.
Okay, that's your.
Yeah.
Okay, I just was trying to figure out where that was.
Yeah,
and I
that's
didn't
why,
see it.
you know, I'm co-located to the,
If you're in a butter.
essentially I'm a butter to my own property, yes, if that's possible.
Any other comments?
No, I had the same thoughts. I mean, the one option is the road could be moved, which would kind of address quite a few of these questions. And yeah, I think consult an attorney yourself as well, and land use attorney, and get some.
But without, see, I'm hesitant to do that without town guidelines, you know, so, because they'll have their own opinion, then the town will have its other opinion, then there's a, and if there's difference, then there's this. So I'd rather get answers on what's allowed before I go that route. You know, obviously, then if I don't like it, or if it doesn't fit, or can't do what I want, then I can spend money. But, so those two questions again are what I think are key, you know. If I can have a 12-acre contiguous lot that crosses a town road? That's
Well, I think,
that should be a somewhat of a simple yes or no, when a decision can be made on it.
Well, wouldn't it depend on how the roadway was created? I mean, if it created separate lots, or if it created, if it maintained it as a full lot? I feel like.
yeah, these are all, kind of, for the most, I don't know, but all of them, but for the most part, they're all private property that had the right-of-way through it.
Has easements
Yeah,
and
had
right-of-ways through
easements and
it.
right-of-way through it, so it's one big parcel, it's had right-of-ways and easements through it,
Yeah.
legal ones,
Right,
and,
so if they weren't town roads, I wouldn't be here.
right,
Because I'd own both sides, it's a private road,
Yeah.
no question.
Yeah.
But as soon as they became town roads, what are my options?
Yeah.
Maybe, and I'm not sure, it might even be a zoning board. Thing is, what you might recommend is, if it does cross, an exception, because there's a hardship or something, so, you know, I'm just playing that in my mind, but I'd like at least some guidance from the town to, before I waste time and go down a road that's a rabbit hole and just doesn't make sense, so.
right, and so I haven't fully digested Chris's, letter yet, but, you know, that's a good start.
It's a good
And
start.
we also, when these roads were turned over, we also took the position that we weren't going to come up with one blanket standard, because each one of these cases is different.
Yeah.
So to just say one thing would not be appropriate. But this is something now that we have concrete plan,
Hopefully you can put your arms around it.
that we understand that there are certain elements that need to be dealt with in some way. So this is helpful, that would move this forward. How that's gonna move forward, I really don't exactly know. I wouldn't say it's gonna be 3 days, but I think within 30 days, you'd probably I'd like to get with, Mr. Sterndale and planning and maybe Blair, and then we can go through, and maybe give you some better direction
Good.
in that
That would-
sense,
That would be appreciated.
okay?
So thank you again.
Thank you.
Yep. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Okay. Agenda. Oh, that's it?
Well, we've got
What else are we doing?
public comment.
Minutes?
We have our agenda, a schedule for this year to amend,
Okay, sounds good.
then we can go home.
Let's go ahead and do the board updates. I'll start with, or comments. Buzz, do you have any updates or anything you'd like to share?
Nope.
Gary?
Nothing tonight?
I don't have anything that's popping to my head.
This past Monday, the Conservation Commission sat with the Select Board and we entertained public comment for use of conservation funds to support the application from Rhoda and Steve Capron, who have been able to determine or be able to move forward with a conservation easement for their property up on 152 prime farmland soils, very, very highly sought after by farmers. And we approved the expenditure of $155,000 from the Conservation Fund, splitting the loss of land value with the Caprons. They had initially took the bigger half, so to speak, but with encouragement from the Select Board and the audience, we decided to add another $25,000 to the Conservation Fund commitment. And that was approved, and we applaud the Caprons' initiative to do that, to conserve their property. They've done a lot for the town, and
Where is this property, Sue?
it's, as you go up, right opposite Bachelor's, you know how that hill comes down in 152 as you're heading south? That's called a drumlin, and it's left by the glacier, pretty much rock-free, prime soils, the best in the state. And to protect that for young farmers and to drop the property value down enough so young farmers can afford it was really what Rhoda and Steve wanted to do. And we applaud them for that. That was me, that was what I had.
Charlene?
Yeah, so, I didn't attend the meeting for the, SRPC policy meeting this past, last week, I think it was, but, they've put together, and I'll send it to Kevin to send out to everybody, but, a nice little kind of table chart of some of the legislation, related to, transportation and roads mainly is what, this is, but I thought it would be, folks would be interested in just kind of, seeing that. So I'll send it to Kevin to send out to everybody.
Thank you.
Claire?
Yeah, just a couple of things. Actually, it's just one thing. I'm just making you aware. Right now, SRPC, along with all the other regional planning commissions, is working with the state in terms of updating the regional housing needs assessment reports. And the last one was done in 2016, so we're now beginning. We've kind of already begun, but it hasn't been announced. It's going to start coming forward soon. It's more of an FYI. Just keep an eye out. There's going to be surveys available. There's going to be public meetings. There's going to be opportunities for people to engage in different capacities. What's significantly different about this approach is that it's a coordinated approach. For one, the RPCs are really working together to develop surveys in terms of finding the type of information we're going to be reaching out to people for, making sure there's no duplicative efforts right throughout the state, that the RPCs aren't that all the different ones aren't going out looking for the same information, like making sure that it's there's some coordinated efforts there, which is really good. It'll ensure that it's high quality data and that we're not wasting time. Additionally, we're doing it in-house. The RPCs are drafting it. It's not going to be done by a consultant as it was done last time. So we have a large team within our RPC that's working on it. I'm working on a small piece along with several other people. But it's more just letting you know that it's going to be coming out. there's gonna be a coordinated, more or less coordinated rollout. The RPCs will probably do it on their own, but you'll begin to hear announcements about it and making you aware. So I'm just kinda giving you the heads up.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Kevin, do you have any updates?
Only thing, just to mention, we've talked about this before, was, the schedule for next, or well, this year, I should be saying. And Sue actually brought it up, shot me an email regarding, just that date right after the election, so I think if everyone's fine with it, I'm gonna move that kind of no business up to the second meeting in, March. Does that make sense?
That,
Does that make sense?
well, I had recommended that, the March 9th date be changed to the 16th.
Oh, to the 16th.
To the 16th, because the vote is on the 8th, and that's not gonna give people time enough to be sworn in
Okay.
in order to conduct
So
business.
as long as that's fine with, because I know that the state, have a first and, I'm sorry, a second and fourth meeting schedule
Well,
Wednesday. As long as we can change it with it being fine.
oh yeah, we can change
Okay.
that,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we've done that before.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have no issue. You want me to bump it up basically a week?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
no problem. Is everyone fine with that?
So, I'm just, so are you,
16th.
are you saying we reschedule the meeting on the 9th to the 16th, is that what
That
you?
is correct, in March,
Okay,
because SB2 is on the 8th,
right, okay.
and that would just give
So
people
we'd
time
be
to,
meeting pretty much two weeks in a row.
back to back, yeah. But that's the only time we ever do that, is in March, because of the election schedule.
Will a motion be made for that or anything along those lines, or that has to be? Okay, I didn't know if a motion had to be made or any of that.
Do we
stuff.
need a motion?
To change the,
Date?
schedule?
Oh,
Okay,
I think so.
Okay,
okay.
As long as it's posted,
okay, I don't, not
No.
sorry, I just wanna
Okay.
make sure with the guidelines.
So, I'll go back to your comment here. I mean, can we just do it on March 23rd and
Yeah, just not,
have that as the
just have one meeting that month,
one meeting?
And no business from,
No business
no business on the
At all?
23rd.
on the 23rd, so,
I don't know about the legality of that. I think you're supposed to have at least one meeting a month.
And we would, on the 23rd.
Well, and to entertain,
that wouldn't be-
applications from the community.
Applications.
You want me to do some research
Blair?
on it, get back to you guys?
Well, I think, to the point of the lot line adjustment, you have 30 days if someone submits an application. I don't know that you're required to hold meetings. I would have to look into it, because I'm just speaking off the cuff, but it would make sense that you have to have one once a month because you have 30 days to address an application.
Do you have that white,
So it's possible
it
that,
might say in that white
I
book,
just don't know off the top of my head.
but I don't know
oh,
which,
in this one?
yeah,
Oh,
it might say.
what page?
I don't know, that I don't know. In the beginning. In the beginning of the land use. You want me to look? I didn't even bring mine, but
You don't have your laptop?
I don't have my laptop. It's like 674 is like when,
Yeah,
Oh, that helps.
planning,
674.
yeah.
Like, pages.
If Ed was here, he'd probably know off the top of his head.
Yeah, he's pretty good at that.
What if bylaws say? That
Bylaws would be good.
I do have.
I don't see anything in here on that.
see it in the index for this chapter.
So it says, so under the election of officers, in our bylaws, is the first regularly scheduled meeting following town elections or at a special meeting of the planning board held on the third Wednesday in March will be utilized to elect officers and supply all members updated materials necessary to perform their duties. No regular business shall be conducted at this meeting. So, doing it the third Wednesday in March would be fine.
Except I remember reading somewhere that if you have a planning board, then they must meet
Once
a month.
a month,
But
which,
I just assumed that that would be to entertain business of planning with the community. Maybe we can have clarification for our next meeting and
yeah,
address it then.
Or we could just do March 16th and just come for a quick meeting.
yeah. Maybe we could do it via Zoom.
And then hold the 23rd.
385.
And you can also always cancel the meeting for the 23rd if there's no business to transact that night.
Oh, there's probably be lots of,
I know, well, that's the,
the rate we're going.
Kevin, without specifically mentioning the application at all, without specifically mentioning any applications,
Yes.
how busy do you think the March 23rd is gonna be?
So right now, thankfully, things have actually slowed down a bit, clearly we can see today. We have, off the top of my head, we have one application that needs a deadline, so a new application. I'll double check.
310.
And then there are a handful of exceptions. So there's a lot of people kind of coming in and just kind of seeing what they can do.
Okay,
But clearly those will be quicker than a year. I do believe it's just one new, case. Yeah, Kelly was today, that was today, that was one new case. That would be for the next meeting in February, and then, yeah, so it's definitely a lighter load right now.
I have the RSA. It's RSA 673:10. It's on page 392. Page 392. 673:10, Roman numeral 2. On the bottom, the planning board shall hold at least one regular meeting in each month.
Okay,
And whatever regular meeting means.
right,
so, maybe we should just do it the 13th, or the
16th,
16.
16th,
23rd.
because, you know, if we're not gonna, if we have no business, that doesn't sound like a regular meeting.
Right, yeah,
Okay, let's do that.
okay.
So, just to clarify, so we're gonna change to the 16th, is that gonna be the no business one?
Yes.
Yes.
That'll be
Yes.
the no business, so basically I'm just changing the 9th to the 16th.
Right,
Yep.
and I did find a section in the meeting, in the bylaws, it says that we will hold a meeting on the 2nd and the 4th of the month unless you say otherwise.
Less me? All right.
The chair, so that's you.
So I'm not gonna throw a monkey wrench into this, but, so again, talking about when you can accept an application, so the deadline for an application, for as it stands, and I can change this, so which is maybe the solution to this, is that February 14th would be the deadline. We're not seeing any kind of hearing or anything on the 16th, which again, that's 32 days, right? Although that's actually maybe 30 days. Even if we're not hearing regular business then we would hear regular business on the 23rd. So what I could do, if this works, is just bump up the deadline, in February to the end of February, where we need a 30-day, you would meet that 30-day if something, if the hearing was to be out on the 23rd. Does that make sense?
No,
So application, so if you look at the application deadline, the 14th,
Right,
okay? And then, so we wouldn't be hearing anything on the 16th, so we couldn't really hear or accept an application
correct,
16th, correct?
correct.
So we would have to do it on the 23rd. So if we stay with that deadline, you're looking at clearly over 30 days. So I can push that deadline up.
oh, all right, the 30-day
See what I'm saying?
window, yeah,
So that's what I'll do there as well.
Yeah, that's fine.
That
yeah.
makes sense? I know-
Add another week to it,
Yeah, basically,
Yeah.
yeah. Not to make it, I know it's a small thing. but I'll re-email you folks. I'll do it, I'll be in tomorrow.
Okay, can we, move on to minutes? Do we have minutes?
yep,
Yeah, what was?
January 12th.
January 12th.
Did you have a chance to review them?
I didn't, did you?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
and Ed did too.
okay, then I'm good.
Any amendments?
No, no, just the minutes.
Any amendments on the minutes?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, mostly, Kevin sends them to me
Right,
for wordsmithing and grammar and content clarity and stuff like that.
right,
And then he sends them out to everybody, and then Ed
Right.
usually gets right on them too.
right.
Are you satisfied
motion?
with the input you got, Kevin?
Oh, yeah, no, it's very, extremely,
Okay.
extremely helpful. Like I mentioned, it throws me back to high school, but it's a great way
The
to
teacher
do it.
in her.
She catch, you know, I don't, in actuality, it allows me to move a little bit quicker, because you know, not to say that I don't kind of overlook things, but, you know, knowing that you're gonna look at them.
You don't have to defend yourself.
Exactly. Fair enough. Yeah, so, but I'm not surprised you guys didn't get a chance, because I didn't really send them out too long, I think it was, early in the week. So,
You wanna postpone, so you have a chance to read, or?
I'm all set.
I'm all set.
Mr.
Okay.
Chair, I move that we accept the minutes of January 12th, 2022.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Those in favor, indicate aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Get those minutes done. Thank you. Anything else for tonight? I think that's about it.
To adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
The power invested in me. We are adjourned.